I was asked what this machine was used for. This is a table foiler. It foils stained glass, and it comes with 3 different wheels. It comes with a 3/16, a 7/32, and a 1/4 inch wheel to accommodate 3 different widths of foil. I have loaded my foil, loaded it on the wheel. What you need to do is you need to make sure that your glass is centered on your wheel. So you want to make sure that your glass is hitting in the center of your wheel. That way when you roll this around and you foil it, your foil will be evenly distributed on both sides of your glass, the front and the back of your glass. I pull the foil through here. I'm going to cut it off, and then I am going to keep my glass flat on the table, and I'm going to press my glass into the wheel and turn it slowly, keeping it flat on this table all the way around. Keep going all the way around. I'm using 1/4 inch foil for demonstration purposes. Overlap at least 1/8 of an inch. Cut it off, and then you burnish as you normally would. So I'm going to take my fid and I'm going to burnish all the way around on the outside edge of my glass, and then I will burnish the front and the back of my glass. It is very important that you keep your glass flat on your table. If not, your foil will not be even on the front and the back. You could also cut your foil on the foiler, that it could press too hard or press against the hard part of the wheel, and it would cut your foil. So this makes quick work of foiling. As you can see, I have foiled this piece in no time rather than doing it by hand. So that is the purpose of the table foiler. In this video, I am going to give you some tips and tricks on using the table foiler. The first thing is, when you get your table foiler, it will come with a plastic nut, which goes on here. It will also come with 3 different wheels. Each wheel has a marking on it. This one is 3/16. So this is a 3/16 wheel. That means it is meant to use with 3/16 foil. This one is a 7/32 wheel, so you use this with 7/32 width foil. And this one is a 1/4 inch wheel. When you load your wheel, when you put your wheel on here, there is a notch. There's a notch in this wheel right here. This goes on the bottom. So when you put your wheel on the little stud here, you want to make sure this notch is on the bottom. I'm going to use 1/4 inch foil for this demonstration. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to turn this notch down. Then this notch fits right over the top of this pin, so it slides down on here. If you don't have it lined up, it won't slide down. So you want to make sure that that notch in your wheel is lined up with this pin. Then you put your nut on top of the wheel, and you can raise and lower the wheel. You can tighten your wheel or loosen your wheel depending on your glass thickness. So now I have my wheel on here, and now I want to add my foil. You want to put your foil on here so that it comes off of the roll toward the top away from you, and it comes around, and you're going to pull it around these pins. You're going to come around this pin right here with the paper against this pin. When it gets to this pin, this is where it separates the foil from the paper. So I'm going to separate it, and I'm going to put the foil through here, and then the paper will roll off on that side. Now you want to take your foil and you want to roll it under this pin right here, just like this, so it rolls around. So I'm using 1/4 inch foil. I have a 1/4 inch wheel, and this is black back foil because I think you can see it better on the video. I'm going to pull it through here just a little bit, and it kind of crinkles up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to cut that off. All right, now the next step is to make sure that your glass is centered on your wheel. So if I was using this glass, this is already full, but you can see what I'm talking about. You want to center your glass on this wheel. So as you can see, this is not centered on that black rubber gasket. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to tighten my wheel down so that my glass is centered on this gasket right here. So this will evenly distribute your foil on the front and back of your glass. Then you simply roll it around here, it crimps it on, and then you burnish as normal. But it will put it on here, you have to keep it flat, and it will put it on your glass, and it will evenly distribute on the front and the back, and it crimps it over the glass. Now, another couple of tricks or tips. One is curves. Not all curves will go through the foiler, so you need to look and see if your curve will fit on that wheel. This curve is too tight to go into this curve of this wheel. So this piece would have to be done by hand. This will not fit down into the wheel. It will not burnish on, it will not adhere to the edge of the glass. The other thing is you want to make sure that your glass is not too thick to go through the wheel. So if you look at this piece, this is really thick. So this glass is hitting on the hard part of the wheel at the top and the bottom. It is not sliding down and hitting that rubber gasket that's in there. So this piece right here, if I tried to press it and foil it, it would cut the foil. So not all glass is going to fit really well in your foiler. The other tip, another thing is really small pieces are really difficult to do on the foiler because they fall down in this gap right here, in this groove, this edge right here. They'll fall down in there, so you need to do those by hand. The other tip is make sure you keep your glass flat. And as you roll it around like this, now this one's not going to do, I don't have any foil in here. You're going to roll it around and you want to keep it flat on the table. Keep your glass as flat as possible. Don't let it tilt. If it tilts like this, it could cut your foil or it would not be evenly distributed on the front and the back. So this is how you use a foiler and how you